Cronkite News starts now.
Welcome to this Monday edition of Cronkite News. I'm Tyler Mannion.
And I'm Danielle Malkin. Thank you for joining us.
For the third day in a row, the number of newly reported coronavirus cases in Arizona has gone down.
Cronkite News reporter Madison LaBerge is keeping track of the data. Madison?
As of April 20th, 2020, there have been 54,500 total COVID-19 tests performed in Arizona. There are now 5,064 positive cases in the state. 3 more people have died since yesterday, bringing up the number of coronavirus-related deaths to 187. So where does that put Arizona on the White House reopening plan? The plan says that states should begin to open back up after 2 full weeks of declining new cases. Today, we're in day 3 of declining cases. If this downward trend continues, Arizona could potentially open up on May 1st. 1 day after Doug Ducey's stay-at-home order expires. In downtown Phoenix, Madison LaBerge, Cronkite News.
Across the country, protesters in several states expressed their disagreement with stay-at-home orders. Earlier today and over the weekend, protesters also showed up at the Arizona State Capitol. Protesters demonstrated in Maryland, Indiana, and Colorado. Both Sunday and Monday, protesters showed up at Wesley Bolin Plaza and the Executive Tower, where the governor's office is located. They called for Arizona to reopen for business. Governor Doug Ducey's stay-at-home order is scheduled to expire on April 30th.
On Twitter, we asked. Governor Doug Ducey announced Arizona's stay-at-home order 3 weeks ago to help slow the spread of COVID-19. Do you think it's time to reopen Arizona? Within 25 minutes of asking our question, over 75 of you responded. Over 90% of Twitter users that responded to our poll said that it is not time for Arizona to reopen. What do you think? You can share your opinion and vote in our live poll on Facebook and Twitter. The epidemic has also delayed federal Real ID requirements. Those would have kept anyone from boarding a plane without a driver's license that met higher security standards. But now it's been pushed back a whole year. One Arizona congresswoman is reminding people to be ready. Cronkite News reporter Kara Harris has the story.
It may be hard to believe now with American social distancing, but one day people will be getting on airplanes and traveling again. And Congresswoman Debbie Lesko says they need to be ready with their real ID.
Once the coronavirus crisis ends, then I think we need to start refocusing our efforts on making sure that TSA works with the states to get out to the word to the American public that they need to get this real ID.
In Arizona, that means taking official documents, a birth certificate, a passport, a social security card, and more. And $25 to the Motor Vehicle Division to get a special travel card or a star on your driver's license to show it's real ID compliant. But doing that now is a challenge.
First of all, now we have this coronavirus crisis, so people can't even go into their MVD to get this new license. There was millions of people that didn't have their real ID yet. So I really think that the administrator didn't have much of a choice.
Lesko, who sits on the Homeland Security Subcommittee, has been calling for the extension long before the COVID-19 crisis began. And she's not the only one.
Quite frankly, the airlines, the travel industry was very concerned that so many people didn't have a real ID. And they were concerned that if at October of this year, all these people showed up to the airport and they weren't able to travel, domestic travel, that there would be a mess.
But Lesko knows not everyone will have acted by next year, which is why she's introduced a bill that would tell the Transportation Security Administration to accept travelers with pre-check clearance.
I think it's wise for people to do it. I do still think that my legislation is needed because in 2021, I have a feeling there's still going to be people that haven't gotten their real IDs, so we need to come up with a plan on how to implement it.
Despite the 1-year delay, Lesko says she still wants to push her bill to make sure there are no issues for travelers next year.
This was important. It continues to be important, even though it has been postponed for a year. I don't want to be in the same spot in October 2021 that we would have been in October 2020.
Kara Harris, Cronkite News.
Before you run out to get your real ID, the Arizona Motor Vehicle Division was shut down over the weekend for a computer upgrade and will not reopen until Tuesday, although in-person service appointments will still be limited because of the coronavirus.
When the U.S. Supreme Court heard arguments last fall about the Trump administration's proposal to end DACA, COVID-19 was not part of the discussion. The first case had not even been discovered in China then. But a group of lawyers thinks the coronavirus needs to be part of the court's deliberations. And the justices agreed today to let those attorneys file a brief to make their case. That brief argues that about 27,000 DACA recipients are currently working as healthcare providers in the U.S. because of the work authority that comes with their deferred deportation protection. Those workers are needed on the front lines of the fight against the coronavirus, but could be deported if the court sides with the administration, the brief says. The administration has argued that it has absolute authority to do away with the program. There is no telling when the court will issue its ruling in the case, which was argued November 12th.
A Chandler nonprofit that helps provide basic necessities to people experiencing homelessness is adapting amid the coronavirus outbreak. Cronkite News reporter Melanie Porter found out how the program is changing to bring stability and hope into the lives of Arizona's most vulnerable.
iHelp is just one of many programs offered by the nonprofit Ascend. It provides shelter, meals, and showers to hundreds of people each year. Specialists also help those who need housing and jobs.
So without food, people are going to be more susceptible to health issues, and we need people to be as healthy as possible during this time.
iHelp operates every night of the week, but with COVID-19 concerns, the program is adapting to help keep everyone healthy.
We've always relied on our community, and this is a time where we continue to need our community.
Before coronavirus, several different churches around the valley helped to house those who might otherwise be on the streets. Now, Valley Unitarian Universalist is stepping up as the only host site in order to limit exposure of both guests and volunteers to the disease.
You know, it was a moral thing. It's based on the mission of what the church is all about. It's why are we here? It's, you know, people's lives. I think the humanity of it was really evident.
Ringler believes this will be a defining moment for the congregation.
Everyone has thanked us for remembering that Valley Unitarian Universalist congregation is all about love and service. And that's what we do. That's our prayer. Service is our prayer.
And she hopes that with their help, iHelp is able to continue offering security to those struggling. Melanie Porter, Cronkite News.
We want to hear from you about other acts of humanity during this crisis. If you or someone you know is stepping up to help others, please email us at cronkitenews.asu.edu.
COVID-19 forced Pat's run to go fully virtual for the first time ever this weekend. The 4.2-mile run honors number 42, the late Pat Tillman, the former Arizona State Sun Devil and Arizona Cardinal who left the NFL to enlist in the United States Army. Instead of nearly 30,000 runners transversing the streets of Tempe, people around the world paid tribute to Tillman by running in their own communities. Organizers of the event encouraged participants to upload videos and pictures from their run. Many showed their route, including running certain streets in the pattern of Tillman's ASU jerseys number 42.
Environmental groups are turning to legal action to try and get federal agencies to better protect two Arizona rivers. Cronkite News reporter Madison Staton explains.
It's a tale of two rivers. One, the Verde, runs into the valley from northern Arizona. The other, the San Pedro, flows up into the state from Mexico. Both rivers are at the center of lawsuits, filed with the hope of protecting each of them.
The story of Arizona rivers is that we have demonstrated many times that we can dry them up, but we haven't demonstrated that we can save them.
That's why in March, the Center for Biological Diversity filed an intent to sue the U.S. Forest Service over cattle damage along the Verde River.
There's been multiple reports from the public and from us to the Forest Service that there's cows out on these protected rivers, and the Forest Service just hasn't been doing enough to fix the problem, and so we knew we had to take it to the next level.
The U.S. Forest Service said in a statement that the agency has some preventative management options to help, like fencing, and designating specific areas for cattle to access the water. The Verde isn't the only Arizona river with livestock degradation. In southern Arizona, it's happening on the San Pedro River. The Center for Biological Diversity and other partners like the Sierra Club filed litigation this spring to protect the San Pedro from livestock grazing. The lawsuit against the Bureau of Land Management challenges what the center reports as unregulated grazing. And that's not the only lawsuit. The two groups, along with other partners, also filed a lawsuit to protect the San Pedro from groundwater pumping. Sandy Barr says this is one of the biggest threats facing the San Pedro.
Sections of the river that were once perennial, meaning they flowed year-round, are no longer flowing year-round.
The lawsuit is against the U.S. Army and the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service. The regional director for the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service wrote in a statement that they are working with partners to reduce new well drilling and promote efficient water technologies on agricultural lands. Both San Pedro lawsuits are in the early stages. I'm Madison Staton, Cronkite News.
The Valley is on track to hit the 90-degree mark for the first time this year.
Millard Thomas is standing by with a look at your 8-day forecast.
Yes, Tyler and Danielle, those triple digits are going to come at us pretty fast. But before we get into that, let's start with your Monday evening planner. So as we start to get off work today around 6 o'clock, those temperatures are going to be sitting about 84 degrees, and they're going to cool all the way to 80 degrees around the 8 o'clock hour before cooling off just a little bit to 74 around the 10 o'clock hour tonight. So it's going to be a beautiful night for taking your dog on a post-dinner walk while still practicing safe social distancing. But how about when you wake up tomorrow? You're going to see 66 around 8 o'clock when you guys wake up. Those temperatures are going to spike all the way to 82 degrees around the 5 o'clock hour before cooling off just a little bit as we head into the 8 o'clock hour, just around 78 degrees. Now, how about the rest of northern Arizona? Kingman is going to be that hot spot at 75 degrees, with Flagstaff actually being that cool spot at 55. As you guys head farther north, those chances of precipitation are going to start to rise, so make sure you have your umbrella handy. Now, I want to talk about the weekend because we're going to see triple digits for the first time this year. We didn't see triple digits last year until April 26th, so we're a little bit ahead of the schedule this year. I need everyone to stay cool, stay hydrated, and stay informed because we need to make sure everyone is staying safe while we hit these high temperatures this weekend. If you guys are planning to get any physical activity, make sure you're staying cool, staying hydrated, and staying informed. And to do that, you need to make sure you're wearing lightly colored clothing. You need to make sure you're pacing yourself when it comes to physical activity. And also you need to stay in as much shade as possible because you don't want to get too much sun on you. And also don't forget to practice that safe social distancing. Now, how about the rest of your next 8 days? We're going to see 85 on Tuesday. Those temperatures are going to climb to 94 on Wednesday. So actually we're going to see our first 90s of the year as well. We didn't see 90s last year until April 8th. So we're actually behind schedule when it comes to that. 97 on Thursday, then 99 on both Friday and Saturday. And then as I mentioned, Sunday we're going to see those triple digits, 100, with Monday and Tuesday bringing more of the same, 101 both days. Millard Thomas, not from the Cronkite News Weather Center, but from my very own dining room table.
With the rising temperatures come thoughts of summer activities like water skiing. One Arizona man who loves the sport has shocked many with his talent and age. Before social distancing guidelines went into effect, Cronkite News reporter Sean Rice went to Chandler to ride the wake of Ed Fischer.
What would you be doing at 85 years old? Sipping a cup of coffee with your feet kicked up? Ed Fischer does one rather unusual thing every day.
I ski.
But why, you may ask?
Because I can. And I feel good. I still feel like a kid. Maybe I'm older, but I don't feel it.
Fischer trains 6 days a week for hours a day, and even he is dumbfounded at how he keeps it up.
I don't know, really. I just live like everybody else. I don't eat healthy. I have some workout equipment at home that I play with. I hang upside down every day.
Jokes aside, there are a few old activities that Ed still enjoys to this day.
I still like to dance to the 50s, and I like to have a good time. I like race cars. I have fast cars that I play with, and I think all that keeps you young.
Carolyn Cheatham and Lloyd Johnson are two of Ed's training buddies. They know how incredible and unusual it is to see how great of a skier Ed is at his age.
If you consider someone who's 85, a grandparent or a friend, and mobility is an issue, seeing what Ed does, which someone in their 20s struggles to do. It really is incredible.
He is basically one of the few people in his age that actually can even get up on a water ski. A lot of the skiers he skis against have to have 2 water skis to get up out of the water, whereas he can get up out of the water on 1 ski. So he's a genetic anomaly.
Ed Fischer is a competitive slalom skier. He uses a single ski like I have right in front of me. Now when beginners start skiing, they use a double ski and then graduate to a single ski because single skiing is a lot more difficult. It's pretty incredible that Ed Fischer at 85 years old is still breaking records at single slalom skiing in Arizona.
I have won the Western Regional 3 times. I've won the Nationals once. And now I'm shooting to go to the Worlds. They made a age bracket basically for older people, me included.
Those closest to Ed are still searching for answers as to how he keeps it up. Is it the genes, or does Ed simply have the fountain of youth?
He definitely genetically has some makeup that he has maintained the fountain of youth, because it's just incredible to watch him and to gain the coaching and the feedback from him, because he's got years and years of experience.
He really doesn't do much to stay in shape. I think he's got the right genes, and he's been out here skiing for like 40 years. So basically he's just here a lot and he skis a lot.
The key to longevity may be elusive for some, but it's rather simple for Ed.
You just have to want to do something and want to do it bad enough that you do it. Now I ski, if I do have any competitors, they're usually ex-world or national champions, and I can ski better than them. It makes me feel good.
In Chandler, Sean Rice, Cronkite News.
Fischer is the owner of Firebird Lake in Chandler, where he routinely practices his craft. He says he hopes to compete in the near future. That's it for Cronkite News.
From our homes to yours, thank you for watching. And for Arizona news updates throughout the day, follow us on Facebook and Twitter. You can find us online at cronkitenews.azpbs.org.